What is good, ladies and gents? It's your boy RTL Faith, and we're back on the channel. Today we're going to be talking about My Hero Academia. More specifically, we're going to be talking about Deku and his character. I'm going to try to keep this short and concise because there's so much to talk about. But overall, I want to talk about my appreciation for everything that has happened with Deku and his character overall. So, hope you guys enjoy this video. Let's get this to 15 likes. Appreciate y'all, and let's get started. Now, if you guys are not caught up with My Hero Academia currently, I do want to keep in mind that this will be manga spoilers. So, manga spoilers ahead, you have been warned. Now, Deku's current character is very much different from his initial character, and I actually very much like it, but I do want to keep everybody in mind that Deku's character has been one of the most annoying feelings throughout, because it has been a whole paradigm shift with Deku's character. At the beginning I was like, okay, in the middle I was like, don't really like him, and now I'm really vibing him. A lot of the things in My Hero Academia has definitely made Deku's character, you know, very hit or miss for the fan base, right? We got the introduction of Mirio, who is supposed to be the wielder of One for All instead of Deku, who's arguably a better and more interesting hero and character than Deku, especially at the time. We got the introduction of him being basically the avatar with the additional quirks. We got him eating a hair and all that stuff when he first got the quirk. So there have been a lot of pivotal points in the series where it could make you really like Deku or really dislike Deku. But I think for the most part, most of the fans could agree with me in that the current story for Deku has really embodied how far we've come and how Hero Society has changed. Hero Society is definitely on the downturn because of what happened just prior. The war arc really changed a lot of things for Hero Societies as a whole, with Dabi and Shigaraki and All For One basically crumbling everything as we know it. A lot of people turning their heads on Hero Society, a lot of the villains are getting free, and the biggest part about everything is One For All and All For One and how that story will play out. Deku realizing, of course, that All For One is after him, and obviously that would include everybody around him, such as his mother, his friends, and of course All Might. And we know that All For One will do whatever it takes to get what he wants, especially since he is a villain. Like, this dude is mad evil. He killed Nagant right in front of Deku. Deku realized that this is no game. And Deku's character not only changed from Hero Society tumbling down and All For One being after him, but after meeting all the other prior successors of All For One, of course. Now, what makes his character so good now that a lot of the prior points or the other big moments played into is, one, his character before was a character who had no quirk, who had a big inferiority complex, who always relied on others, who knew a lot about heroes and quirks, and he was a character that really understood what it meant to be weak. That's a big thing for his character, of course, especially he didn't have a big personality, but he was very caring at the same time, caring to the fault. He had some problems with his personality, I think a lot of people agree with, whereas Mirio was a character who, although his character arc is very similar in terms of him becoming a hero, in the sense that he initially didn't have a good quirk, even though he had a quirk, his quirk sucked in fighting. He trained it, became amazing, and became such a great hero. But his positivity, his optimism, his ability to be a leader, and his straightforwardness really differentiated him from Deku, of course, who held a lot of things in, didn't really keep secrets, but never really revealed anything emotionally to everybody else, but always wanted to handle things by himself, making him and Mirio very different characters in that sense, which also played into how he became who he did today. And then obviously another point about it is when he eventually got introduced that he had multiple quirks, a lot of us disliked it, me included.
Yeah, I didn't really like it either. He was getting way too strong for his own good.
But after meeting all the prior successors and how all their ideals and how all of their past experiences with All For One played into what he has to do now, it actually plays very well into what he's doing and the story that is going on now, with Deku doing what needs to be done to take out All For One for good and ending the cycle between All For One and One For All finally. So I think that actually played huge dividends for the story as well, and also played pretty well at the end of the day. And obviously Deku as a character in general obviously started out very, like I said, inferior, likely to handle things by himself, but as we're going to talk about, that played huge into his hero ideals and how it evolved over time. Starting out for the most part in the beginning of the series as a person who would rely on his teammates, a person who recognized him being weak and trying to grow to be strong. But now that he knows that everything is going to be on his shoulders after talking to the past successors, realizing Hero Society has no one to lean on, how all the heroes have been, basically ostracized and all the villains parading, he realized that it's not that simple anymore, and he decides to go and handle it himself, being the hero that everybody needs, not that everybody wants. He doesn't care if he's not looked at as All Might, the guiding light, the superstar. He's here to get a job done, and that really showcases itself when we see Deku's new design, where he's more looking like a villain.
In case you notice, Deku's outfit actually looks like the first villain that appeared, the slime villain from Volume 1. I thought it was just pretty cool how the author just moved that in there.
Someone that even scared other characters, but he doesn't care. He's here to get a job done, and we see the parallels in multiple situations. He saved a hero, didn't want to talk to him about anything. He saved his life, told him to get lost, and then fought Muscular. When we saw him fight Muscular before, he just tried and used 1,000,000%. But this time he had strategy, he had thinking, no talk, and got it done and took out Muscular without a problem. And we see this again and again. He's here for business, he's not here for pleasure, he's here to be a hero, he's not here to be your friend. He stopped with that whole trying to be like All Might, but he wants to be better than All Might, and he wants to end everything today. He wants to end everything now, and he realizes that All For One's not stopping, so shouldn't I. Which I really appreciate, as everything plays into who he becomes now as a character that is truly like the Batman-esque character that we've been wanting for all this time. I love it. Hopefully you guys like it. And what's even more entertaining is how everything's playing right now with him and his classmates. His classmates are here to help him. And it's not as simple as, oh, they showed up and helped him and it's all good. No, they showed up and helped him and he was like, okay, thank you, get lost. That's basically what he said to them. Obviously, they're not going to leave, so he wanted to force himself out of this situation. And when I mean force, I mean force. Imagine the version of Deku actually fighting against his own classmates. It wouldn't make any sense. But this version of Deku is because of everything he's been through. Realizing that they could potentially die, and realizing that he's no longer that inferior person. No, I'm stronger than all of you. Get out of my way. I got something to do, and I don't want you to die. That is his sentiment, and that's what he's trying to push across. You may say a lot of things, but it goes hand in hand how he thought before, but enhanced to a different degree based on experiences and scenarios affecting him. And that's what makes a good character. Someone who's true to himself, but is truly, when experiences and situations occur that changes the story drastically, it ultimately changes the person to adhere to their ideals still, but adhere to the situation going on. And that is what Deku is doing currently, as they try to fight back against him, trying to showcase that they could help him, trying to plead to him that they are strong enough to help him, but all that is for naught. Deku marching his way through all of them, despite all their combination plays, and everything is really not helping. Not until Ida, who's going to be the one with the last words, it seems like, eventually says to Deku something like how when he didn't ask for help, he's helping them, just like how Deku said the same words to Ida before. These words truly affect Deku more so than any other words have until now, because obviously these are his own words being said back to him. Now, is he looking at himself as a hypocrite? I don't know. Or is he looking at himself as a person that maybe my current trajectory is not the best one? because even the scenario he was in, he was put against a corner and having some trouble. So despite Deku pushing his hero ideals to the limit, doing everything by himself, that doesn't make it the right decision, because even if he does everything by himself, doesn't mean it's going to work. When it comes down to it, everybody else that is next to him are heroes as well, and they have to be allowed to make their own decisions to help him at the end of the day, and they want to be heroes just like you. So I'm glad another thing that was said during this fight is that they don't want Deku to change, but they want to be by his side when he does what he does. That is another great moment in my opinion, because it kind of emphasizes the point that Deku is not going to revert back to his prior inferior crybaby self, but stay his more mature and driven self, but obviously open up much more. He's not a different character, he just evolved over the situation that occurred. Imagine if we had an apocalypse. You're not going to be the same person, your truest ideals are just going to be enhanced to adhere to the situation that is going on. And that's all that I think is happening, and that's why I really appreciate Deku's character. So this video was for Deku. I actually really am enjoying everything right now. At this point, you can definitely make the argument that Deku is a better character than a lot of other new gen shonen characters right now, and because his ideals are being challenged and he's being pushed to the edge. Can't wait for that to happen to Asta. So clap. Additional clip. Yes sir. Yes, this is an additional clip that I'm adding towards this Deku video. As you guys can tell, I'm wearing something different, and that is because I have read the most recent chapter of My Hero Academia, and it adds a little bit more to Deku's character, and good things, actually really good things towards his character. And I did say I didn't want him to change, but it seems like he didn't change at the same time, basically being the same, being strong towards his ideals, but his ideals were challenged by two very important characters in his life as a whole. And of course that means the incredible Bakugo moment, where Bakugo revealed everything that he's done, why he's done it, revealing how he truly feels about Deku and how that truly affected Deku as a person. And then of course Uraraka protecting him from the masses of people who are against him, of course. Like I said, he has come a long way on his hero journey, to where his ideals were challenged multiple times, even by his friend himself, not being one to do it by himself like All Might, but this time utilizing his friend's help, including Bakugo, of course, leading the way. And with everybody against him, you know, being the target of all the villainy, Uraraka, the person who is his romantic interest and hasn't really been doing anything as of late, has been showing that she is there for him. She is someone that he can lean on. And despite all this, look at his face, look how he's downtrodden, look how tired he is. Even though he is capable of doing everything himself, he realizes after, you know, they are trying so hard, that this might not be something he can do by himself. So yeah, I just wanted to add that clip. It just adds more to Deku's character, more credibility, more, you know, character journey for his character, and I'm very much appreciated. So a little clip, just want to add a little bit more. Hope you guys enjoyed. Yes sir.